Per your guys' request, I'm going to be doing a step-by-step tutorial on how to sight in and set up your UV Slider 2 bow sight. Now keep in mind that UV does offer a couple different pin configurations that you can choose from, and depending on which one you select will change the sight in process slightly. So for starters, we're going to talk about vertical pins, and then later in the video we will talk about the horizontal pin sight in process. Like I said, they do change slightly based on the type that you go with. Now, in regards to the vertical pin, the first thing that you're going to want to do is obviously get this set up on your bow. And step one is going to be to ensure that your first, second, and third axis are going to be level. The last thing that you want to do is go through the sight in process and then go back and make that adjustment to your sight to level it out, because it could potentially have an impact on your 20 and 60 yard mark. And obviously any slight impact is going to have a big influence on your overall accuracy of your actual sight tape. So like I said, just make sure you're doing that ahead before you move forward with the sight in process. Now, once you get your first, second, and third axis dialed in, the next step is to figure out where your 20 yard mark is. Now, one thing that I do want to point out, and this is going to be all based off of your bow, it's really kind of trial and error. You're not going to know for sure right off the bat if you need to make this adjustment, but depending on your bow, depending on your P-pipe, you may need to move this slide rail a little bit higher or lower on your bracket to ensure that you're getting the most amount of clearance. For my setup, I actually had to move the slide rail up and then actually move the scope housing down a little bit, and it gave me the ability to actually utilize the new dead stop that came with the Slider 2 or the Slider 2. I keep trying to call it 2.0, but so just make sure that you test that out before you go to your sight in process, because if you do have to move that, you are going to have to re-level out your first and second axis. And again, you want to make sure the sight is level before you go with the sight in process. Now, once that is all ironed out, you know that the sight is in the proper position, you know everything is level. Again, go to step two, and that is to figure out where your 20 yard mark is. Now, on the vertical pin sight, you're going to use your top pin to figure out where 20 is. And one thing that UV does great is it is all toolless to make your elevation adjustment and then also your windage adjustments. So you're going to utilize the roller wheel to move the scope housing up or down to dial in your 20.